Hello and welcome along to Mondo Chelloveck Movies. My name is John and this is going to be my top 10 tag video. At the end of the video I'm going to tag 5 people who I'd like to take part. You don't have to though, there's no pressure on it. If you'd like to take part, it's one of these things that it's going to spread across this YouTube community. It's been really good watching people's things that they put in. There's been a few ones that I would never have thought that people would have chosen. So I've been tagged by 3 people: Jake Talks Movies, Movie Worm, and also JT at the Movies. So thanks everybody for tagging me, and also I want to give a special shout out to Jake Talks Movies, Jake Blower. Now if you remember my competition last night, it went really good and I had a really good time with it, but I did miss somebody out and that person was Jake, and I really apologise for that. What I did was, this is my original list which I copied everyone's name down when I found out people had put into it, and if you can see under JT in the Movies I've got Jake Talks Movies there, his channel. And when I went to copy it over to the list that I was going to use for Deborah to tick off people's names, I, underneath JT in the Movies, I missed Jake's thing off, which I really apologise for. I've contacted Jake on social media, and he's a great guy. He's understanding of this whole thing, and I really feel bad for it. I can't believe how much I do. It's my fault entirely. My wife Deborah, she feels really bad as well. She didn't have anything to do with it actually. All she did was pick their names out of the bag. But I just wanted to say that I'm really sorry, Jake, but I will make it up to you, and I'll be sending you something. Definitely, we've talked about it, and Jake says there's no need to know all that, but I would love to get in some subscriber me when I find out what I think would be appropriate. And also he's asked us to do a few collaboration videos with him or some live streams, and that's perfectly fine. That'll be great. So thanks once again, Jake, and I really apologise. I'm so sorry for that. That was the one thing I didn't want to happen in that competition, but hopefully he's okay with it, and he's a great guy. So I would really like everybody to get involved with his channel. Subscribe to him if you can. Have a look at his channel. He's got a great channel. He's just started out and he's up and coming, and I would love to think that you could show him what this community is all about. Just get out his channel, get him some subs. That's the least I could do to promote his channel as much as I can. So thanks once again, Jake. You're a good sport, and I really appreciate you tagging me in this video as I do with Movie Worm and JT in the Movies. Okay, so that being said, let's see what the choices are. So first of all, in this is a section in horror. So if you know me, there's going to be no surprises as to what horror movie I pick out here, and of course it is going to be Zombie, my favourite horror film of all time. And this was made in 1979. For me, it's not always been my favourite horror film. I've had loads of other favourite horror films in the past, but this one has sort of come up on the ranks, and it's just got there. It's been my favourite horror film for quite a while now. But on this recent rewatch of the 4K from Blue Underground, which is just absolutely exceptional, it's firmly now my favourite movie, my horror movie. It just looks perfect, and it just ticks every box for me. It's Italian, it's zombies, it's gory, it's got some daft dialect, and it's got some really startling scenes. Zombie versus a shark being one of them. I mean, come on. So for me, Zombie 1979 is my favourite horror film of all time. Now the next one is animated. Now I don't think I've got any cartoon films, not that I think of. I do like cartoon films that I've seen in the past, but I don't think I physically own them. So I've went down the route of getting this sort of the computerized animation, and I've gone for my favourite computerized animation film is Toy Story 2. I've got it on 4K. I haven't watched the 4K yet. Well, I've tried it out and it looks absolutely breathtaking. So I want to do these whole in a binge watch. I do say to my wife, would you like to watch these with us, and she's sort of on the fence, but if she doesn't want to, I'm going to go get in them anyway. I do have a great time with Toy Story, and this movie and especially is just the one that I really think is just the best Toy Story out there, although I do like them all, if I got to admit. Next one is drama. Now for drama, it's quite a broad subject, isn't it? And I thought, well, there's a few things there's loads of things that could be in here. And what I've done is I've chose everything's from my shelves. There's a few honourable mentions I could give that I don't own, but I'm going to try and just keep it to my shelves. And for drama, I've chosen an exemplary film, Dead Man's Shoes by Shane Meadows. This film, if you haven't seen it, it is something else. It is a drama. It has got comedy elements into it. I've been talking about this at work with a guy from work, G-Man, Ecoperro Restorations. I'll put the link down below for that one. We've been talking about this movie. I've got the DVD here because the DVD has special features on that isn't on the Blu-ray, unfortunately. So I'm stuck in with this one. I will probably get the Blu-ray just to watch it on the picture and keep the extras to this disc. But this film is just absolutely brilliant. The performance from Paddy Considine is one of the most breathtaking performances that you can imagine. And when I was talking to G-Man about this whole thing, I said, did you get this certain feeling that I did about a certain thing running through the film? And he says, yes, I did. So he got that sort of surprise as well, which but this film is just absolutely next level. But it's what I call a gritty drama, and Shane Meadows can really do gritty dramas excellently. The next one is comedy, and I've went for probably my all-time favorite comedy. I do watch this regularly, and I can say probably every line in the film, you know, off by heart. I must have seen this probably more than any other comedy than I've got that I've ever seen. And it is Young Frankenstein, 1974 film. It sort of borrows from the fact of the first 3 Frankenstein films from Universal. This is kind of a homage to them movies, but with loads of comedy put in. Obviously, you've got is he on the cover? No, he's not. You've got Marty Feldman in there, who plays just an absolute, well, they all play brilliant characters, and I just think this film is absolutely amazing. It's so funny, it's so well done as well. Highly recommended. If you haven't seen it, you must see Young Frankenstein. It is one of the funniest films, in my estimation, that's been ever made. The next one is SciFi. Now, SciFi, wow, that is so broad, and there was a few ones that did pop up. I did think Alien, of course I did. I did think along the lines of ones at 2001, which I never really liked until I got the 4K and I sat down and watched it properly, and I thought, wow, this is a really good film. There's a load of sci-fi films I do like, Star Wars, all of them type of films, but the one I've chosen today is a film that I think is probably the one that it could have invented sci-fi, and it is 1928's Metropolis. Now, this movie is a brilliant movie. It's a long movie as well. It's black and white, silent, but that doesn't take away from the fact of the stunning special effects for the time it was released. And it's very watchable as well. And funny enough, when I first got this, I didn't really care for it because I didn't really understand what it was all about. But I did sit down and watched it properly. I think this is what you've got to do with some of these silent films. Just really zone in on it, and you'll get a lot of stuff out of it. So the stuff that's in this film probably has been seen for the first time on celluloid, and it's just absolutely brilliant. So this steelbook is absolutely, I'm not a big fan of steelbooks, but wow, this is a really excellent steelbook. So my favorite sci-fi film is the 1928 silent film Metropolis by Fritz Lang. So the next category is action, and that's another broad one. There could be a lot of films in there. I mean, there's many ones that I walked past and thought it could be that one, could be that one, could be that one. But I've chosen this one because it's a recent watch, and I did think when I watched it, the action in it was just non-stop, and it did make me think it was the best of this particular series. And it is the third part of John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, or whatever it's called. And it's just absolutely non-stop. All the John Wick ones are good, but this one just never lets up. And I do think that I did think it was going to start a tail off. From 1 was brilliant, 2 was okay, and I thought, well, maybe it's not going to be as good. But 3 for me is my favourite one out of the John Wick series. It's just non-stop action, and that's what this category is all about. The next one is comic book. Now, for comic book, I was so tempted to get out Dark Knight because it's just absolutely amazing film. I love that film, but I thought I would just take a little bit of a sort of change in pace for that one, because I thought I wanted to get one that was a little bit under the radar, but it's still equally good. It's one of my favourite films in that genre, and it's not lesser known, but it's not one that people would necessarily go to in comic book. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Now, this film is great for me because obviously it's got that whole comic book aspect to it. It's got some great performances from these actors here, and also it's got this band in it. I think they're called Sex Bomb, and they do this band as well as this whole fighting, and with these sort of boss level sort of fighting, and it's hard to explain really. It's like a big sword, but it's so good, and also it's it's directed by Edgar Wright as well, so that ticks a massive box for me. He's a brilliant director. But the fact it's got the band in it, it's got this whole war with superheroes, sort of superheroes with special powers. It's over the top, but it's got so many quotable lines, and it's just absolutely brilliant for me. So that's my favourite comic book film. I don't know if it's my favourite one, but it's the one I'm thinking about most at the minute. The next one is a Western one. Well, probably I would go, for Fistful of Dollars. That's the obvious choice, and it probably would have been if I owned Fistful of Dollars. I will own Fistful of Dollars as soon as it comes out in 4K. It's been begging for a decent UK release for so long. The other ones have always had slight little problems with colour grading, or just the fact that it's smoothed out or too much grain. They never seem to have got it right. I'm just hoping if they go back to the original like it is, do a great version on the 4K, that the Dollars trilogy will come out. But saying that though, there's another film that's right up there with that, and it has been given a good treatment, and it is Once Upon a Time in the West. This is a Sergio Leone film, so that ticks a massive box. It's also got a soundtrack by Ennio Morricone, I do believe, but this film is an absolute masterpiece. It's sort of like a better version of the Dollars trilogy. It's not really like the Dollars trilogy in a way, but it kind of is more like Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And the characters are absolutely brilliant. Peter Fonda plays well against character. He plays a really good bad guy, and also Claudia Cardinale is a great heroine in this one, and also you've got Charles Bronson, who is just unreal. I do think that he's one of the best actors from that generation. So that's my favourite Western, Once Upon a Time in the West. Long film as well, but well worth it. Now the next one is a romantic film. Now I don't think I've got that many romantic films that you can call romantic films in my collection, but I thought I'm going to dust off one that doesn't get a lot of love, but I do think it's one of the best romantic films ever made. And actually it's got romantic in the title as well. It is Necromantic 2. I know what you're going to say. No, I don't think this is a romantic film at all. In fact, it's not a nice film to watch. I do think it's the best of the two, from Necromantic, and Necromantic 2 is much better. It's got the end line in this film is one of the best end lines you will ever hear in any film of any sort. The whole premise of this thing, I mean, it's a ghastly film, but the whole last line just makes you go, wow. Anyway, so no, that's not going to be me favourite romantic film. It's not really my favourite of any type of film at all. But I'm really amazed that it ever got released in the UK. I had to go down this route with my favourite romantic film, kind of, since I don't really own that many, is I'm going to say A Star Is Born, because there is a good romantic relationship between these two characters, which you can really believe. The film for me is a masterpiece. I love this film, especially Lady Gaga's performance in here. It's just absolutely, she should have got an Oscar for this. I think she got an Oscar for the song as well, but wow. Absolutely brilliant film. I remember saying to my wife, you should watch this. She said, no way, it's a load of rubbish. And I said, it's not really. There's a lot more to it than just a bit of singing and that, which there is, as you know. A bit more. It is more like a drama, but there is a romantic side to it, so I've chose that one as my romantic film. Although I don't really have them in my collection. Nothing against them, but it's just something I don't really go for. So the last one in here is going to be Adventure. Now I had to have a long think about this. Predominantly I thought, what is adventure? What is an adventure movie? Isn't all movies adventure movies in a certain aspect? So anyway, I've went for a really old school title that I used to think of more like, this is what I call an adventure film, and it is Jason and the Argonauts. Now I remember watching this at school. They had a big projector and they put this on during break one time for some reason. I don't understand why, but we watched this and I loved it. And what happened before the Jason and the Argonauts film was that we're all in the playground playing around, and I tripped over and bashed my face on the ground really badly on the gravel, and it was bleeding and everything. So they said, well, you can't go and see the film, can you? And I said, no, I'm all right. So I had this, I remember watching this with a Kleenex stuffed up my nose. So that was quite strange. But yes, so my favourite action film, adventure film is Jason and the Argonauts, which is a brilliant film. If anyone's seen it, you will understand the mastery of Ray Harryhausen, who, when he done this film, I think this is one of his best ever attempts at his stop motion for special effects. Absolutely brilliant. So yes, so thanks for watching. I'm now going to give 5 channels to tag 5 channels, and I don't know if they've been tagged before. I think there's a lot of this going around, so excuse me if you've been tagged once before. I did get in touch with a few people and asked them if they've been tagged, and they had already been tagged, so I've had to change my list a bit. So the channels I'd like to tag on this video are Keith from Euphoria Pictures, Tony from Sinister Arts and Movies, Danny from The Girl in the Movie, Lisa G from Pink Paradox Reads. Now the reason why I'm tagging Lisa is because I'd love her to make a new video, because she hasn't made one for a little bit, and I'd like her to make some more videos, because I love watching her videos. And the last one I'd like to tag is a channel called GeekyHiJynx Reviews. Now I've just started following him last night, and I took a journey to his channel, and I thought, wow, this channel is really good. He's very low on the subs as well, so I'd love you to go across and this is a kind of a shout out for him as well. So GeekyHiJynx Reviews, I'll leave a link down below. Please go and check out his channel. He's got a great channel, and I think he's going to go quite far. He's got some good analysis, and he's good at presenting his stuff, and also his editing's pretty good as well. So this is the channel here, GeekyHiJynx Reviews. So if you want to get over to there, it's quite a good channel as well. I really do think that he's got some really good content on there, and I think he could go really far. I love him to be welcomed into this community. So thanks everyone for tagging me. I had a great time doing this, and also thanks to Jake for being so understanding with the problem with the competition. We feel really bad about it, but I hope we can make it up to you a bit later down the line. Okay, so thanks for watching. You take care, and I'll see you next time.